Guys, you already know what this video is going to be about. It's the Danielle live stream. I'm going to watch someone else kind of summarize, I guess. It's like a 32-minute video. So I don't know if we're going to watch the whole video, but I've seen different opinions about it, right? I've seen some positive opinions about it. I've seen some negative opinions about it. So guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. I'm going to give my opinion because I've actually, like, I've looked, because I've seen some stuff that people have been saying, and I've kind of looked and searched and scoured the internet. Now obviously, because I'm not Korean, because I don't speak or write in Korean as well, there may be some stuff that I might miss as well, because that happens. Because it's like when you're an English speaker, bro, it's like trying to find, when it's about stuff about Korean stuff, it's like sometimes English sources are not the best, but bear with me. But guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video.
Hello guys, so on January 12th, 2026, Danielle, former member of New Jeans, broke her silence for the first time since Adore formally terminated her contract and filed a damage lawsuit against her. And what followed was not a press conference like this one, not a legal statement, but a carefully framed live broadcast addressed directly to fans. So we're going to talk about all that. But before we get into this, I want to make something clear up front. I know many people watching this video might be, critical of this person. Some of you might be angry, feel disappointed, feel disgusted, whatever. And some of you might feel that she avoided responsibility altogether. Those reactions are real, and we can talk about them, but we're going to do it without insults, okay? Without name calling and without turning this into a pile-on. Because after all, criticism can be sharp and still be respectful, and that's the standard we're keeping here on this channel, as we have always done or tried to. So in this video, we're gonna break down what Danielle actually said in her live message, what she did not say, and how the public reaction was, and also something about her legal law firm and why a specific lawyer that she hired was an interesting choice, and also what Adore's legal strategy tells us about where this case is likely heading next. Okay.
Yeah, you see, and this is why I wanted to watch this guy, because it's clear. I think he's Korean, or at least speaks it, so should get a little bit of information that even I've not seen yet.
First, Danielle announced in the morning of January 12th, 2026, through her legal representative, Hwao, that she would hold a live broadcast later that evening through YouTube. Framing it as a live message meant purely for communication with fans, and explicitly stating that it was unrelated to the ongoing lawsuit. And there were a bunch of articles written about it and published in the morning. When was it published? Yeah, 9:39 a.m. So probably her legal law firm reached out to journalists and media agencies to spread the word around. And it says that she also was planning to do it through Instagram, but wasn't it through YouTube though? I don't know. Anyways, let me briefly read this particular passage from one of the articles. According to Danielle's legal representative, the law firm Hwao, Danielle will hold a quote-unquote live message session at 7 p.m. through her personal social media channels, including YouTube and Instagram. Danielle's side explained that this live message is a space where she will personally reach out to fans who have stood by her for a long time, conveying her sincere feelings and greetings. The broadcast will be streamed live, allowing her to connect with fans around the world in real time. Through this session, Danielle plans to express her deep gratitude to domestic and international fans who have continued to support and love her, share updates about how she has been doing, and ask after her fans as well. Danielle's representatives emphasized that this live broadcast is intended purely for communication with fans and is not related to the lawsuit. Kind of sounds like a something an agency would said through, I don't know, media agencies about their comeback plans or something. Anyways, I read it because it probably came directly from her legal law firm. right? Hall. Also, Danielle gave a sort of like a teaser about the live broadcast through her Instagram account, with a photo of like this candle with the caption "For those who waited, 12 January 7 p.m."
Yeah, the problem with that title right there, for those who waited, I mean, I guess for anyone who didn't know it wasn't going to be about the lawsuit, I guess those people definitely wouldn't have been happy. It's kind of a, um, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for here, but it's like okay, do you guys watch WWE when The Rock says he's gonna come back and he comes back for like one night, and then you think it's gonna be like a longer thing, but then The Rock never returns. Like, if you don't watch WWE, you probably won't get the reference. But just think of someone making plans and then making future plans. I don't know. You know what? Basically, people were probably hoodwinked a little bit. That's the best way I can describe that.
And it turns out that she had opened a personal Instagram account with the title Dazzy Bell, DAZZIBELLE. And interestingly, it was created in September 2025, which means that she might be, I don't know, planning things in advance, even last year. And the account is followed by
Maybe bit of a stretch, maybe, but I don't know.
her sister Olivia Marsh. So yeah, and I wonder how people even find out about this even before she posted anything. Anyways, that's what happened. And then the live broadcast itself took place in the evening around 7 p.m. And yeah, it was addressed directly to Nugent's fandom, bunnies. How long did she speak for? 9 minutes 16 seconds on the channel Danielle Marsh. And she opened the live by greeting bunnies and immediately becoming emotional. She said that speaking like this felt unfamiliar and heavy, and that simply saying thank you for waiting was not enough. And she emphasized that fans stayed where they were, quietly and consistently, and described their messages as something warm that did not need to be loud to be felt. And she said that warmth stayed with her for a long time. And she went back and forth between English and Korean. I wonder if her speech was pre-written or she was just ad-libbing. But then she reflected on the past period, saying that she learned a lot and had to protect many things. And she explained that the way she looks at her family and the world has changed. And when she thinks of bunnies, she said the first thing that comes to mind is their eyes, especially moments on stage and the silence right before the music starts, and the feeling that connection continued even after the music stopped. And she said those memories are what quietly support her now. And then she also explained that she did not talk much during the past days. She said she traveled, listened, and learned how to stay still. And she described being under unfamiliar skies, like meeting herself again, and keeping stories, meant for Bunny.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying here is, I've seen clips, I've seen with subtitles and stuff, and obviously her going back and forth between English. It is true what you're saying here. I don't know. I mean, I'll let the video play. I don't really know what to say about it now, to be honest.
In her heart. And so you can feel what kind of direction she was going with this, right? And she mentioned that she wrote a letter for fans, but has not shared it yet, saying she hopes one day they will be able to read it, and that some things become more beautiful when they are waited for. She then addressed the present situation directly, saying that many things are still in the process of being sorted out. And she stated clearly that when the time comes, she will update fans about what is happening, including the lawsuit and the things that she believes fans are curious about. And after that, she made one point. She said she could state clearly. By that, she said that she fought. She, literally used the word fought. She fought until the very end to stay together with the members, and that this truth stays with her. And she said that New Jeans remains in her heart, and that even if she is in a different place now, she hopes to remain connected as one of the bunnies, as family, without regret. And she closed
Hmm.
by saying that this is not the end. She said that in the days ahead, whether through music, silence, or small moments, she wants to share things sincerely and beautifully. And then she expressed a wish that the care and warmth fans gave her would return to them in her own way, and that their days ahead would be gentle, healthy, and full of light. And she ended by saying that this is only the beginning. So, yeah. Now, what stood out most? I mean, yeah, she was going like, I don't know.
One thing that jumped out to me was when she talked about, when she said, oh, well, what jumped out to a lot of people is when she said, this will be a new start, right? This is not the end. And a lot of people were basically saying, did she plan this from the start? Is this indication that she planned it from the start? Is some stuff I've seen? I'm kind of leaning on more to maybe that's a bit of a stretch, right? Maybe she's just talking about, I guess maybe you could say it's too soon to talk about a solo career. I guess even though she didn't, I don't know if she specifically said a solo career, but I guess she's alluding to her solo career. Maybe it's a bit too soon. I guess you could argue, right? Because a lot of people are still very emotional about what's happened. But, I never really, I didn't jump to the conclusion that, oh, she's been planning something. But we'll have to wait and see.
You might call it poetic or something. But what stood out most was what she did not say, right? Danielle did not explain the specific reasons that Adore cited for terminating her contract. And she did not address the alleged contract violations. And she did not respond to Adore's claim that she and her family played a central role in the dispute and the delay in the group's return, which could be a disappointment factor for true bunnies, right? Who are waiting for their comeback.
Just to pause again, sorry, but I'm not that surprised she didn't address. To be honest, I don't know why she even did this live stream. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if this was the best idea, but I'm not that surprised about that because again, it's an ongoing lawsuit, and anything she says will be used against her, obviously, or will be used in court. So you're not gonna get a direct response like that. Do you feel like she should have, shouldn't have? I don't know, but I'm not surprised by that. Yeah, I'm not that surprised.
Soon. Now, and also, despite being at the center of a 43 billion Korean won damages lawsuit, her remarks remained emotional and symbolic. I would say symbolic rather than factual or explanatory. In fact, several outlets noted this contrast explicitly. So, while Daniel's message focused on feelings, gratitude, and connection with fans, they said it avoided any direct engagement with the legal substance of the conflict. And some commentators characterized the live broadcast less as a clarification of responsibility and more as an effort to maintain emotional bonds with the fandom during an active legal battle. And after all, this might be, strategic because she wasn't doing this like as a improvised live. I mean, after all, her law firm was part of this. I mean, at least they were aware of it, and they even made a trailer or teaser about it through media agencies, right? Through their own semi-statements. Now, here's a passage from one of the media outlet articles that was published after the live broadcast. It goes, they said, Adore had previously notified Danielle of the termination of her exclusive contract. The company also filed a lawsuit seeking approximately 43 billion won in damages and contractual penalties against Danielle, her mother, and former Adore CEO Min Jin. who was described as the origin point of the so-called New Jeans dispute. Adore explicitly stated that Danielle and her family had influenced the course of the conflict, making clear that Danielle was at the center of key issues, including whether the members fulfilled their contracts, disruptions to group activities, and the company's financial losses. The lawsuit Adore filed against Danielle is intended to determine legal responsibility for the New Jeans dispute. However, during her live broadcast, the article says, Danielle did not address the background of the lawsuit or the allegations of contract violations at all. She offered no reflection on her own decisions or choices, nor did she present any rebuttal to Adore's claims. Instead, the majority of her remarks focused on gratitude toward fans, longing, and emotional expressions. It kind of reminds me of what she said during that their emergency press conference. When was this? This was, wow, time flies. That was in 2024, right? Anyways, at the time, she said something along the lines of, I would like to express my gratitude to our advertisers who always support us, and I would like to say that I thank them so much, and I would like to say that they have no reason to worry about anything. But I guess at the time, she was confident that they would win a case against Adore, but they lost it. Anyways, kind of reminded me of that, where she expressed gratitude instead of, explaining things clearly.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get what these articles are saying, but I mean, she did say, didn't she explicitly say, I can't get the words, explicitly, probably saying that wrong, say that the live stream wasn't going to be about anything to do with the lawsuit anyway. So, I mean, if she said that before, then don't be surprised. But again, I'm not really that surprised. Like, what is she really going to say about it? Especially in terms of a big case like this. What is she going to say? I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen most of these cases. I'm not a legal expert, but I've seen enough cases like this, big cases, especially in terms of, I mean, not just the music industry, in terms of cases anyway. I mean, a lot of the times lawyers will tell you not to say anything about the case. So I don't know. I don't know. That's just my opinion though.
And legally. And all right, back to the article. The article says, it is understandable that she may be unable to disclose everything while legal proceedings are ongoing. Well, that's true. Still, Danielle has been identified as a central figure bearing responsibility in a dispute that has shaken the entertainment industry. At a minimum, she was expected to explain why she made the choices she did, what her current position is, and which parts of Adore's account she believes are inaccurate. Danielle stated, "This is not the end, but the beginning," signaling determination about her future path. Yet, despite the core issues surrounding her involving explanations of past actions and accountability, her live appearance appeared more focused on maintaining her fan base. In the end, the broadcast left behind emotional messages and personal resolutions directed at fans, rather than substantive clarification of the controversy. So, yeah. And for many viewers, this stopped being an emotional story and turned into a legal one, right? So when some of the commentators say things like, the world runs on rules and laws, they are basically saying that, like tears or sincerity or fan support do not change a signed contract. And they are reacting to what they see as a gap between, emotional messaging and legal reality. There's also a lot of anger directed not just at Danielle, but at the adults around her. Like many comments clearly place responsibility on her mother and on Minnie Jin, arguing that if they truly cared about the members, things would not have gone this far, which I agree with. And in that frame, Danielle is seen as someone, paying the price for decisions driven by ambition and misjudgment rather than necessity. Another layer is resentment
Yeah, because isn't sorry to I'm not going to pause too long. Isn't Daniel? You could argue that maybe she's young. I think she's around my age. Like, I'm 21. I think she's in her early 20s, isn't she? So I don't know. I don't know. Let it play.
About opportunity. K-pop fans know how many trainees never debut at all, right? So when people bring this up, they are saying that debuting was already a huge investment and privilege. So from that perspective, walking away from a contract feels just reckless, not empowering at all. And there's a constant mention of, the 43 billion won lawsuit, which shows how seriously people are taking this. And it is, no longer symbolic or hypothetical. The legal case has already started. And once numbers like that are involved, 43 billion Korean won, people expect explanations, not just emotional reassurance. That is why some reactions sound so cold. And then there's, simple fatigue. Some people feel that celebrities will land on their feet no matter what, while ordinary people live with the consequences of contracts every day. So to them, emotional live streams can come across as avoiding the real issue rather than confronting it. So, yeah, the reactions, at least on the Korean front, reflect a shift in how the public is reading the situation, and many viewers are not really asking how she feels, but why certain choices were made and who is responsible for what happens next.
Yeah, I will agree. There is an emotional argument with a lot of New Jeans fans that I do see where they go, well, she was treated bad and this and that. And let's say those stuff are true, which they might be true because you hear about it in K-pop all the time. Like K-pop groups getting treated badly, human rights, not letting them eat, everything. Like you hear all that stuff, and that stuff might, maybe it is true, maybe, but if you're looking at it from, and this is what, even though like I do think the hate she's getting is a little too much because again, it's still allegations. Like this is what all of it's still everything that Adore's saying about her, all allegations, right? It's all everything about the contract breaches, everything, all allegations. Just because she hasn't said anything about it yet doesn't make it what they're saying true, in my opinion. But at the same time, from what it looks like, right, it does look like maybe they're in over their heads about the situation, and maybe there was a bit of, when they talk about Min Jin, or I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, their manager, right? Maybe a lot of it was her ambition, and maybe she had too much ambition. Maybe a little bit of that does play a part in this as well. But it's hard because she is young, right? So you could, but at the same time, you don't want to just completely like put it down to her being young because again, she's still an adult. Still like I'm in my 20s now. Like I'm still an adult. You can still think clearly, but I guess when you got all those people around you, you don't know. So again, I'm trying to still give the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, legally, legally to me, it doesn't. I'm not a legal expert, but from what I've seen, it doesn't look that good. And I can see why a lot of people are thinking, well, maybe this just was a big waste of time. And what does look weird is the fact that three of the members went back like straight away. So I don't know.
Now, let's briefly look
You guys let me know what you think about it in the comments below so far.
at there's a website where you can see the updates and progress of a legal case if you know the case number. Okay, and first, the damages amount itself. So Adore did not round the claim. The figure is 43093140000. 여기서 100, 1000만, 10만, 100만, 1000만, 억, 10억, 100억. So 43 billion, 10만, 100만, 1000만, 93 million and 140,000 Korean won to be exact, down to the last 10,000 Korean won. And that kind of precision could tell you this was calculated line by line, not estimated for headlines. And in civil litigation, plaintiffs do this when they believe they can justify each component with contracts and revenue projections or documented losses. And it suggests that Adore is treating this as a textbook damages case, not a symbolic or emotional lawsuit. And second, the legal representative issue raises more complicated questions. So if you drag down Pigel, Danielle, Pigel 1-3. Pigel 1-3? Okay. Pigel 1 is probably Danielle, and Pigel 3 is her mother. And they have hired two law firms. One law firm Hao, and second one is called law firm Chengba. And it has now come out that one of the law firms, representative Danielle, Chengba, has previously released multiple videos that were critical of Minijin and of how the New Jeans dispute unfolded. To be specific, is a lawyer named Chung Jong-che, and he has a channel, YouTube channel that looks like this: 정변, lawyer Chung, law and case, 법무법인 정바. So law firm 정바. Okay, so he even has a name of the law firm as in his title of the YouTube channel. And on its own, that does not mean the firm is hostile to Danielle, nor does it prove any internal conflict, because lawyers represent clients, not personal opinions. But if you look at like some of the videos that he uploaded in the past, for example, this is from May of 2024, and she was like, Minijin. So he was talking about the injunction case between Hive and Minijin, which Minijin won. But at the time, he said that Minijin would lose 100%, and then he was kind of disappointed and angry when injunction decision was made in favor of Minijin. And then since then, he made multiple videos, criticizing both Minijin and New Jeans, sometimes in kind of derogatory ways, which I do not really appreciate, because I'm like, come on, if you are a professional lawyer, when you run a YouTube channel, you gotta be at least professional, not only in terms of the way you speak, but also in the thumbnails as well. But he has a very interesting way of making his thumbnails. And this is January of last year.
North Korea. Jesus, I wonder what that video was about.
Yeah, he even edited in Kim Jong-un of North Korea in the thumbnail. And then, this is from February 2025, saying that New Jeans will end up as being like beggars, super poor, like totally broke.
Damn.
And then, also derogatory term. And then calling Minijin a fake mother. Now it turns out all of these videos where he was being super critical of Minijin and New Jeans are now either deleted or made private, so taken down. And if you go to his channel, you cannot find them. Oh, okay, his thumbnails kind of developed from then. Interestingly though, about 3 months ago, he made a video of Pang Xiao, Hitman Bang, where he described this case, and Pang Xiao also in a critical and derogatory way. He specifically called him 양아치, which is a term that Minijin used to refer to Hive executives in her press conference, right? Like something like gangster, to roughly translate. So, it's an interesting figure. And now it turns out that it's one of the lawyers that Danielle's side hired. So it does complicate the assumption that Danielle, Minijin, and the remaining members are still moving as a single unified front, because legal teams shape strategy, right? They decide what arguments to emphasize, what risks to avoid, and when to stay silent. And a law firm that has publicly taken a critical view of Minijin's actions would be an unusual choice if Danielle's goal were to fully align with Minijin's legal narrative or public framing. Of course, this does not necessarily confirm a split, and it does not prove distancing, but it does suggest that
I mean, I thought for the fact that 3 of the members went back and she got terminated, I thought, I mean, not evidence enough, but at least to show, because look, it looked like to me, look, when they all wanted to leave, they all wanted to leave together. They're all going to leave together, no matter what happened. Now, 3 of them went back, right? I mean, look, someone explain this to me in the comments. Look, 3 of them have gone back. One of them's left. The other one we don't even know about yet. I mean, if that doesn't seem divided to me, then I don't know. I don't know.
Danielle's defense may now be more individualized and more.
But that is weird. I mean, hiring a lawyer that I don't know. Someone explain that logic to me. Go on, because I don't know. But maybe there's something I'm missing, but I don't know.
Focused on limiting personal exposure rather than advancing a broader, shared fight against Adore. We'll have to see. But at the very least, it weakens the idea that everyone involved is still operating under one single strategy or one message and one end game. And even without anyone saying it explicitly, the legal paths are starting to look less unified. And this is something that some netizens have noted, so I wanted to talk about it. We'll see, but it was indeed an interesting choice. And now that the legal strategy itself is starting to come into focus, one question keeps coming up. If Adore could legally claim far more in terms of damages, why didn't they? And a recent article by Chosun Biz breaks down why Adore chose a much smaller number than the maximum allowed on paper. And this answer says a lot about how this case is actually being fought. Okay, so let me translate this and read you. According to industry and legal sources, Adore could have claimed close to 100 billion Korean won in penalties and damages from Danielle under the terms of her exclusive contract. Instead, the company deliberately reduced the amount and filed a lawsuit seeking roughly 1/3 of that amount. The breakdown is as follows. Adore is seeking 30 billion Korean won in contractual penalties and an additional 3.1 billion Korean won in damages related to halted activities, missed advertising work, and other losses. Separately, Adore also filed a 10 billion Korean won damages lawsuit against Danielle's mother and former Adore CEO Min Jin, citing responsibility for NewJeans' withdrawal and delayed return. The contract reportedly calculates penalties using a standard industry formula. The artist's average monthly revenue over the previous 2 years multiplied by the number of months remaining on the contract. Based on Adore's revenue from 2023 and 2024, Danielle's estimated monthly contribution was around 1.8 billion won. With roughly 56 months left on her contract, the mathematical penalty amount exceeds 100 or is close to 100 billion Korean won. However, whether a court would uphold that full amount is another matter. Unlike regular liquidated damages, penalty clauses cannot be reduced by the court once accepted, but they can be ruled partially or entirely invalid if deemed excessive or contrary to public policy. Legal experts quoted in this article explained that claiming the full theoretical maximum would increase the risk of the penalty clause being invalidated altogether. So by lowering the claim to around 30 billion Korean won, Adore likely aimed to reduce litigation risk, shorten proceedings, and increase the chances that the court would accept the penalty clause as valid. And industry observers also note that this dispute is unusual because courts have already ruled that the exclusive contract remains valid. And despite that, Danielle allegedly attempted advertising and other activities without Adore's consent, which Adore argues increased business risk and caused measurable harm. So this article reframes the lawsuit in an important way, right? The reduced amount is not a sign of weakness or a compromise, and it looks more like a calculated move to make the claim defensible and survivable and court proof. And so, in other words, Adore appears to be prioritizing in enforceability over shock value. So rather than swinging for the biggest number possible and risking the entire clause being thrown out, they are betting on a specific figure that a judge is more likely to uphold. And that choice suggests confidence in documentation and damages. And it also signals that this case is being treated as a long and methodical civil fight, not a symbolic or, emotional standoff or something. And interestingly, I don't know where they got this information from, but it turns out, so yeah, Adore also filed 10 billion Korean won lawsuit against Danielle's mother and Minijin separately. And it says that Danielle, while the contract with Adore was still holding, she attempted to sign advertising deal with a third party without discussions with Adore, and also appeared on 콘텐츠에 출연한 것으로 전해졌다. And with that sentence, there's no word for trying or attempted. So it sounds like she actually was featured in a TV show or episode or a variety show or whatever content they're talking about. But we haven't seen anything though. Maybe.
Yeah. And look, that's another point where I get where some of the, fans of New Jeans are unhappy, because there's not really been any. This is why I'm mostly staying neutral to the situation in terms of, I'll give my opinions about the video, but like, in terms of like, there's been no evidence she's done anything they've accused her of, anything. There's been no actual evidence from what I've seen. So then jumping down her throat about it is just a bit silly. Yeah, you can be a bit annoyed how this was handled. I understand that, of course. But in terms of like, we don't actually know. Like, it could all come out that, look, that Adore. But you know what it is? If you put a gun to my head, right, and ask me who do I think is probably going to win this case, I'd probably say Adore. I can't lie, because it's a massive company, and I don't know, like, the way these companies work, like, they're not gonna terminate her and then take such a big risk sooner, because, like, imagine if they're wrong, like, that's just gonna publicly, that'd just be a massive hit for them, in my opinion. If they're actually wrong, they don't win anything. But then again, it just looks weird that some of the members went back, and it's just a weird situation. But I don't think there's enough evidence for people to really be. If you want to make assumptions about the way it's gonna go, that's fair, because I don't think she's gonna win this from what I've seen. Sorry guys, if you're a fan of her or fan of the group, I don't think she will from what I've seen. But you never know. I do, to be honest though, do I hope I'm wrong? I mean, I like New Jeans. Like, I don't really know if I hope. You know what? If it's true what she was saying, I do hope she wins. Then I do hope, if it's true everything she was saying, everything that went, I do hope she wins, because I think, you look at the way some of the artists are treated over there. It would be good to see an artist. I think it's always good to see an artist that go through something to actually win, because a lot of the times artists don't win against these big companies. But yeah, that would be my opinion.
Just maybe. They were talking about like Sean's. So recently, Sean, the guy who Danielle has been, doing a quote unquote marathon with. It's not a full marathon, but just run with. He was recently featured in 전참시, right? 전참시 Sean. Yeah, and the TV show focused on his like donation projects and her running projects and stuff, and Danielle was participating in those events actively, but then it turns out during the TV show she did not appear at all. Maybe she was actually featured, and then she even, I don't know, was filmed like talking, but then she was edited out after they learned that Adore took legal actions. I don't know, but
Hmm.
it was interesting how this specific article included that detail that she not only tried to sign a deal, advertising deal, with someone without consulting with Adore, and also she appeared in contents. Anyways, so there we go. That's what I wanted to wrap up the video with. So today's live broadcast by Danielle confirms kind of a clear strategic divide. So Adore is pursuing the dispute strictly through legal filings, right, and court rulings and contractual language. By contrast, Danielle is communicating almost exclusively through effective language directed at fans, while postponing any substantive explanation until an unspecified future moment. And that contrast is why probably public sentiment has shifted even further, because many viewers are no longer asking how painful this must feel, but how responsibility is going to be assigned and enforced. And what complicates this even further is that the legal strategies are starting to diverge. Danielle's defense appears increasingly individualized, while Adore is treating this as a structured civil case. So as of today, yeah, the situation remains unresolved on every front. So the lawsuit is ongoing. Minji's decision remains pending, and Danielle has publicly positioned herself emotionally alongside New Jeans while legally standing outside the group. And what happens next will depend on whether and how the legal claims and evidence and court judgments unfold from here. Okay, but I'm curious how you see it. Where do you think this case is heading next, and what do you think matters most now?
Wow. Okay. Great video. I'll link this down below. Look, guys, I've given my opinion throughout this video. I'm gonna look at some comments. Again, it is strange that you see maybe these two could have different strategies. Maybe she blames her in some way. I don't know. Again, these are all assumptions, but I understand where everyone's coming from. I understand where the fans are coming from. I understand, but in terms of like this case, I don't think I don't know if she wins it. I'll be honest. I don't know. I'll be very surprised if she does win it. I don't think she will. From an emotional standpoint, maybe if there's stuff actually happened behind the scenes, I don't know. From the accusations I've seen, it didn't really seem like there was much behind the accusations either. But again, some of these K-pop companies and stuff I like, so I do get that. But looking at these comments, I mean, I said it before and I'll say it again. One thing you could say about Danielle is she really, really doesn't know how to read the room. Wow. Let's see some of the replies. Well, she's in the shopper's tool and toolbox. She has an overinflated view of herself. You see a lot of these comments here. Like, I don't get these type like, I get people are annoyed about her maybe trying to go from an emotional standpoint. I get that. I understand that. I get why some people would be a bit annoyed by that but again, none of the accusations against her have really been, proven. I think the only thing that I guess when she said I fought to stay in the group, I don't know. It kind of seems like the group's a bit. Kind of seems like everyone's motivations are a little different. So I guess there's confusion, sure, but I find it hard to sympathize with her. I can understand that. I can understand that. In some ways, I can understand that. The moment she dropped the cheesy "New Jeans Never Die" line. I mean, I don't think it was a nice line for the fans. I don't know if it was cringy. Notice how she never even apologized to her former members, but instead defended herself, saying she fought for them. Lol. I don't really know what she has to apologize for. I mean, all of them looks like they were in agreement on what they were going to do. And what would she really have to apologize for exactly? I mean, look, I know the claim is she was the main spearhead behind this. And if that's the case, then maybe, but I guess maybe you could say, but again, it looks like it wasn't really her that was the main, like it was mainly her manager that was the one that was kind of pushing all of them. But let's see the replies. Maybe someone will could let's see what someone says. Maybe someone will change my mind here. Maybe she does need to. She is Minjin's daughter, and how is she doing the whole thing before Ilit's how's she doing the whole thing before Ilit's release? Alright, yeah. I know, right. Also, why was she behind their back signing contracts and even took a group contract almost worth 1 million to again, like this, when you're saying this, there's no, like, I've not seen any evidence for this. Like, there's nothing's been. I feel like this is the problem. What I see with some people see stuff like this, and just because the live stream did seem like a bad idea, but just because it's live stream, how they perceive her, they just tend to believe it. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm not buying the soft toddler voice. She's 20, not 5, and the drawn out poetic vaguenesses aren't deep. Turning a lawsuit into a soft focus teaser is pure emotional bait and not sincere. I mean, guys, do you know what do you expect? She's an idol. Like, if you're a fan of idols, like, all of them do that soft, annoying, weird voice. Like, I don't know why you're surprised she's doing it now. Like, I mean, and I don't know. I only watched clips from it. It didn't really seem like she was doing that, so I don't know. But I didn't watch the whole thing. But they're idols. Like, that's what idols do, right? That's what they do. Like, I know it's annoying, but it's like, I mean, it's like getting annoyed for the sky being blue, you know? Let's see, this might be a good comment. 2 members went back to a door quietly and have been out of the spotlight since then. Hani, who was the most public with her accusations against the door, also went back quietly, and Minjin is not back, but she's staying out of the spotlight too. I just don't understand this girl. She said she wanted to go back, but keep doing charity and promoting products with the door without Adore's permission, and now again no evidence of that from what I've seen. But someone correct me, but I searched, I did not see anything. But Adore's permission, now she goes live to fake cry. She's just making things worse for herself. She comes across very disingenuous. I don't know if this is a preemptive to garner sympathy, because a lot of things are about to be revealed in court, or she's addicted to the limelight. Okay, that is a big comment, right? Again, you see, I knew the members going back would be users, because why did the members go back? That's what I wanna. You guys, you know what? You guys in the comments, let me know why you think the 3 members went back. Let me know. Now, as far as them staying out of the limelight, I mean, they've re-signed the contract, so what can they say? They're under contract again with them. There's nothing they could really say anyway. So I understand that. If I was her coming out, I mean, I don't think the live stream was a good idea. I'll admit, I think she should have just stayed quiet and wait for the court proceedings, because again, you can't say anything publicly. Yeah, I just don't think the live stream was a good idea. It probably would have been better for her to just not say anything and put out statements. That's what people normally do, right, for the lawyers and stuff. It seems like that would have been a better option, so I agree with that part. In terms of her being addicted to the spotlight, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But guys, look, this has been a long video. This video has been a while. So guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Thanks for watching. If you watched the end, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on it. There's a lot that's been said here. But yeah, guys, peace.